Cool, bro.
Modestas Bukauskas, just over 1 week out from your next fight. How are things and how has camp been so far?
Hi, mate. Yeah, everything is going real well. Everything is going right to plan. Camp's been, as every fighter says, this has been the best camp that I've ever had in my life. But honestly, I can honestly and truly say that this has been the best camp in terms of my overall development, in myself pushing through boundaries, in terms of my mental state. Like, really, I don't think it could have gone any better until obviously the next training camp. But for now, I'm in a really good space. And yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to get it on, man. I'm ready to get in the cage right now. Give me a fight this Saturday. Do you know what I mean? So
let's talk a little bit about your 2020. So obviously you made your UFC debut in July, and in 2020 you went 1-1 in the promotion. How do you look back on your first year in the UFC?
It was, I mean, it was good and it was also not so good. But at the same time, with the not so good, it brought, better things onto me anyways, in terms of, like I say, my development and learning as a fighter. So, I mean, being signed with the promotion is a bit of a roller coaster, to be fair, in terms of everything. Having no idea when my next fight would be after I defended my Cage Warriors title, to getting the phone call at like 4 a.m, because obviously America's, the time difference, that you just been signed to the UFC at the beginning of the year. Then they said you're going to fight in I believe it was May, and then that getting postponed due to the whole Corona pandemic situation, which hopefully is going towards a halt now, after the vaccines have been brought out. But yeah, then having that like rescheduled, but then finding out it's going to be on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, and then actually going out, some 6-star hotel, and like, the UFC like really taking care of us. The first event, winning by knockout, getting the 50 Gs, like it was quite an amazing experience in terms of like, being able to do all those sort of things. Like I said, a bit of roller coaster ups and downs and emotions, but a lot of development in my own personal game. And then obviously, because I'd made so many improvements, and especially during the pandemic period where not many fighters were able to do that, and I was still able to do that. Me, being confident in myself, I took that fight with Jimmy Crute when no one else wanted to fight him. Unfortunately, that one, obviously came up short. But like I said, I'm still very confident in my skill set. I know I've got so much to prove. I've got so much more to show. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it in that fight, but very, massive congratulations and credit to Jimmy. He's an amazing fighter, and obviously I know he's going to do well in the UFC, and hopefully someday again our paths will cross, and maybe we'll get the rematch. So but yeah, so in terms of having making noise for myself and making my debut and stuff like that, I did that was checked off the list. Obviously I wanted to get myself into the top 15 as quick as possible. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but I'm very glad that did happen. So it, like I said, it opened up a lot of doors in terms of where I needed to improve. And it wasn't necessarily skill-wise. There's more stuff sort of behind the scenes and outside the usual realm of what fighters would say they need to improve on. Like, I've got to improve my ground game or this or that. It wasn't a case of that. It was other things. And then, I had a knee surgery at the end of the year, but that got fixed very quickly. Shout out to Leanne at Distinct Physiotherapy. If anyone's in Watford, check her out, or anywhere around that sort of area. She is next level. Getting me back after 4 weeks after knee surgery. She is the one. But yeah, so as you can see, like from just the way I've described it to you, there was loads of goods, there was some bad, but overall it was, I think I put up on an Instagram post, it was one of the best years that could have happened to me, especially with that loss, because now I feel like I'm untouchable, and I'm going to show that on March 27th.
Yeah, 100%. And something you mentioned there I wanted to pick up on was that both of your fights, first 2 fights in the UFC, were on UFC Fight Island. And this fight is obviously in Las Vegas. How do you view that change? Do you think it will be a benefit fighting in Vegas at all?
Oh, mate, how could it not be a benefit? We get to go to Vegas, baby. But look, obviously, at the end of the day, I know we're not going to be able to go out much. Like, we're literally quarantining in the hotel for the whole time, being stuck behind 4 walls until we fight. But, mate, like, it is every fighter's dream to fight in the fighting capital of the world, to fight in Vegas. Like, when anyone talks about any big fight, it's always happened at like the MGM Grand or something like that. Now, I know it's not the MGM Grand, but the UFC Apex, like, again, these are like groundbreaking things that people don't realize. These are things in the MMA world that were never before seen before. And it's happening, like, especially during the coronavirus and stuff like that, where he was able to, Dana White has been able to put on shows, and he's the only one to do it. And, yeah, so fighting in Vegas, fighting at the Apex, it's going to be an amazing experience. It's, again, something else to experience, something else to feel like, my first time fighting in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure there'll be many more times I'll fight there. So it'd be good to get a taste of that now. And yeah, obviously I can't wait till the crowds are going to be back, which clearly, as stated in the news, is going to be pretty soon.
That's a little bit of a strange thing. I've spoke to a lot of people making debuts or have made their debuts in the UFC. And obviously you haven't fought, and this will be your third fight in the promotion without a crowd. Does that affect your nerves, your mental state at all, not having the fan capacity?
I think it's exactly that. Like, like you used to have them old like sparring sessions. Like, I remember when I trained out in Brazil, like literally there's just two people in the cage, and like everyone just goes one by one to do their rounds, and just going hell for leather, and just in front of like a couple of people, like all the other people in the gym, and it's like very eerie and quiet. But it reminds me of that, to be honest. They do such a good production, do such a good way of running things that it feels like you're fighting on a live show anyways. I mean, apart from obviously having the fans and, the people screaming and having the cheers and the jolts and stuff like that. But even then, like, you hear the commentating box go, oh, and, all sorts like that. Like, when you're in there, you don't really notice anything. You're just in there in the fight. So you're not really, you don't pay much attention to anything on the outside. It's almost like tunnel vision. Like, as soon as you go down the walkway and you get in the cage, it's a fist fight between you and another man, and it's not really much, like, obviously saying that, I haven't fought in a massive stadium yet, but like I said, it's a fight. I'm there to make a mark, to earn money, to go and show my skills to the world, and yeah, so it's pretty much the same. I just know in terms of energy, obviously with a crowd, there'll be a different type of energy, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, of course. And let's talk a little bit about the matchup. So next week, March 27th, you will face Michał Oleksiejczuk at UFC 260. How do you view Oleksiejczuk as a stylistic matchup for yourself?
I think it's a very good matchup for me. Obviously he feels the same way, and look, he's a very aggressive fighter, very good striker, heavy-handed, so he has got a lot of knockout power. He pressures and he makes people fold. That's his game. He has taken a year out, so I expect obviously his grappling to have gotten better, but how much better within a year, we don't know. But that is clearly what has been the weakness for all of his UFC, well, for pretty much, the UFC fights that he's lost, and even in the past. So I know and I feel that my grappling is going to be better than his anyways. But people always underestimate my striking, especially due to the last fight. Keep sleeping on it is all I'm going to say. Especially to him, keep sleeping on it. I mean, I respect the guy. He's a very tough competitor, and I'm so glad that I got an opportunity to fight him, especially him being, ranked pretty highly and stuff. But yeah, I do feel this is a fight where I'm going to go and just completely overwhelm him with my game, and finish him.
And you just mentioned rankings there a little bit. Where does a win next Saturday put you in the light heavyweight division?
At least in the top 25. I feel it'll definitely put me in the top 25. So it will give me another sort of leap forward in the rankings to be able to solidify myself, so I can go and fight someone in the top 15. I mean, listen, a win here would definitely make me feel like I even feel right now I could fight anyone in the top 15 and win. But obviously you got to take your steps. You got to climb up the ladder. So there might be one other fight, and then potentially a top 15 matchup after that. So look, I'm not looking too far in the future. I'm very, I'm confident in my abilities and what I can do. At the end of the day, we've got Michał, and we've got to concentrate on him and go and beat him, go and put on a performance, and then things will just roll off of that. Things will roll off naturally after a big win here, and that's exactly what I'm setting out myself to do.
Of course. And something I wanted to touch on was a little bit about nationalities. So obviously you've got your Lithuanian heritage and Mikhail is Polish. With that being said, and some of the other names in the light heavyweight division, do you think light heavyweight has got the most Central or Eastern European talent?
It's definitely got the most, diverse in that sense. I mean, you've got Rakic, you've got Blachowicz. I mean, even like guys, you've got Jimmy Crute from I believe it's Australia. So, Tyson Pedro, Ian Kutalaba. You've got guys from all over. I think we are representing really well, especially in Europe. But I think the biggest platform for heavier guys seems to be from the European sort of circuit. You're hearing sort of less of the American light heavyweights and now more of the European light heavyweights. So it's good to see that we are collectively as countries making our mark on the world stage. So it is very interesting to see how our countries are now making our mark into the rankings.
Yeah, and obviously you are the Baltic gladiator. Can I ask, is there anyone else from the Baltic states that people should perhaps have their eye on?
Do you know what? It's probably okay. I know there's one woman who's fighting on Saturday. Her name is Yulia Stoilarenko. She's also Lithuanian. She's very good. Definitely watch out for her. She's insanely tough. She won the Invicta Championship, so she's definitely one to watch out for. We've got mainly boxers as well from the Baltic states. I'm speaking mainly from Lithuania, but you got I believe it's Eimantas Stanionis and Igis Kavilauskas, who just literally fought for the title against Crawford. Unfortunately, came up short, but the fact that he got to that level and he's going to be fighting big fights anyway. So we've got some people coming up. We've got some people coming up. And like I say, I'm just excited for all of us to go out and perform and to show our skills to the world. So it's definitely a very exciting time, especially for Lithuania in terms of combat sports.
Mean Machine, do you think he was the first man to drop Crawford, or do you think it was a slip?
Sorry, what's that?
I said, did you see Mean Machine's fight against Crawford, and did you think it was a legit knockdown or a slip?
You
might have had the chance to watch it.
I mean, I would say, like I say, at the end of the day, it's up to the referee to say what it is. I mean, obviously Crawford's he's a very powerful puncher. So whatever the case may be, like I say, you just got to leave up to the referee to know what he's doing. And either way, Crawford, won the fight over the rounds and everything. But Kavilauskas put a very very good performance and a good fight, and he challenged the best in the world. So I mean, that's definitely saying something, and I can tell his career is definitely going to blossom even more from here.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if obviously we've got the fight next week, the 30th, but what are the rest of your goals for 2021? What is it you want to accomplish? Do you have opponents in mind? Do you have a specific goal? What do you want to get out of the rest of this year?
2021, I want to make that money. 2021, honestly, I mean, I've got a couple of things that are even like written up on my board. Like, I want to, by the end of this year, to be able to enter the top 10 in the UFC. How the hell would you be able to do that? That means you've got to fight a lot. And in terms of how many fights, I want to have 5 fights this year. I want to stay active. I want to be in the presence. I want to, Kevin Holland put up an amazing 2020 fight, fighting 5 times, being ready all the time, stepping up when no one else would. And that's what I want to do. Like, I want to step up. I want to win. I want to be in shape. I want to be in the spotlight. I want to do these things. I'm ready to compete against the best. And I just want to go out and show. I feel the more I compete and the more I do things, the more confident and the better that I get. So that's what I want to do. I want to have 5 fights this year, 5 big wins, make a lot of, make some big money and, be within the top 10. And then next year, get into that title contention. So this year is all about growing from my first defeat in the UFC, and then now really making a name for myself, letting people know that the Baltic Gladiator is not only here, but he's here to stay, and he's here to make a mark.
Kevin Holland has showed a lot of people there's a different way to do it, isn't it? Just fight when you can.
Yeah.
and all the time, and the rewards will come.
Yeah, no, exactly. And even having that mindset that just want to fight like you. But it's funny because I see many similarities. I'm always training. I'm always wanting to fight and do things. So if things go your way, you don't have any injuries, you're ready to go. Let's fight. I mean, what could be more exhilarating than just being able to fight all the time in front of big crowds? And that's something I strive for, and that's what I'm aiming to do this year.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And final question, because I know that you are busy. Give me a prediction for next Saturday. What happens in your fight?
I'm going to go and knock him out within 3. So whichever round it is, I'll finish him. Look, I give him the utmost respect, and he's a great fighter, but I've got to go in and do what I got to do. I'm coming in with a totally different type of viciousness that I've not had. And listen, it ain't about talking, it's about doing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and finish him.
Superb. Well, I very much look forward to the fight, and I very much enjoyed talking to you today.
Mate, it was absolutely amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day yourself.
You too. Before we finish, how can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's MODYB24. Let's get a couple more follows, guys. We're going to be on that 10K, you know what I mean? It keeps fluctuating up and down. I've been in the 10K, then down to 9,900 and whatever. So all the love and support is obviously much appreciated. It really does mean a lot, having people follow you and see your story. And like I say, I like interacting with people as well. And on Facebook, I mean, there's many people use Facebook, but Modestas Bukauskas on Facebook, and Twitter, Baltic Gladiator. So that's how you can find me on those.
Superb. And before we finish, is there anything you would like to say or sign off with at all?
Just all I can say is that the Baltic Gladiator 2.0 is going to be in full force on March 27th. So tune in, you'll see that.
Yeah, superb. Couldn't agree more. Thanks for talking to me today, Modestas.
All right, nice one, brother. Thank you so much.